I'm Ryan Besson. We are Pop Culturists, and this is E3PopC 2016. PopCulturist.com's E3 coverage. We're at the final conference for the day.
Yep.
Final conference for the event.
Hype was real for this one.
So for me, this is the toughest because
objective and not
no, because I was at work. So the last conference of the expo
and
is
the one you
Sony. The one I cared the most for is the one I couldn't watch on my couch. I was at work in training. I had my phone, and I was like, And then
it looks like you're taking notes,
but then no one gave a shit, so I plugged headphones in.
That's awesome.
And then I was actually able to watch a bit hunk of it live. And then my favourite part, though, is while watching it, I got a text message. You've used 85% of your data. You've used 100% of your data. I'm like...
Worth it.
Like, all right.
So you mentioned using headphones. Did that make that sweet orchestra sound any better?
Yeah, we should mention that Sony opened the conference with a full live orchestra.
Talking about E3 leaks, this was leaked and that's like, Sony hit a fucking orchestra.
How can they not mention that there's an orchestra? Like we're
not talking 10 people orchestra.
Yeah, they're like, the new Xbox console is going to be this, but I guess no one even gave it, because everyone was hunting for rumors on consoles and games. No one ever gave two shits that there's an orchestra there.
What's that guy doing with the oboe over there?
I don't know. Is it a new console?
He's got a backstage pass.
Is that oboe a new controller?
So the orchestra played for about 4.5 minutes, and it was a really, really good track. It might have gone a little bit too long, but the track itself, what they played was amazing music.
Not knowing what it was,
I'm like, a bit frustrated, maybe a little bit. Like, what is it?
I was like, and then that chick started like, she
started like beatboxing 1300 style. Yeah. Anyway, the music cut out, and we get
it cut out, and I was like,
yay! We had a trailer of some kid playing with his toys.
No, the curtain goes.
Oh, the curtain goes up. Some kid playing with his toys and stuff, which was then revealed to be God of War.
Yeah. So there's two kids. Like, there's a kid playing with his toys, and he this boy.
Yeah, and you're like, is it?
He gets up, he turns around, he walks into a cabin.
This is your mother's knife.
And then he's like, this is your mother's
do you know how to hunt?
knife.
Yes. And then he steps out of the shadow. Well, then show me. And the crowd's just like the crowd.
It was massive. So essentially, it comes into the room. The boy grabs the knife. The camera pans a little bit to the left. Out of the shadows comes Kratos in a beard. He's looking better than ever. So compared to other God of War 1 to 3 plus Ascension, is the art style was very good, but is also very sort of semi-cartoonish.
Yeah.
This is grounded. So
very grounded. Yeah.
Then after they leave and they go into the forest and start wandering around.
It's basically it's a father-son journey.
Like
he's teaching his son how to hunt, and they fight some bad guys and stuff.
So it's changed. The game's completely changed views. Previously, it was shot from the back, but from a while away, and also it changed perspectives in terms of from the side.
It's more Dark Souls.
This is
over the shoulder.
It's an RPG at this point.
Yeah.
It plays like a third person RPG, as in it's behind you, over the shoulder, enough to see what's going on.
So a bit of information that came out today about it, which you might not have known, is the entire game from that opening scene is a single shot.
So no load screens?
No load screens, no fade to blacks, no CGI, like cinematics mid-game. It's one shot from start to finish.
So it's Birdman, the game.
Pretty much, yeah. Which is really interesting. Like, it's a really cool way to do the game.
So a lot of cool things came out of just watching this sort of trailer, or gameplay trailer, really, because they played the game. So Gon had the Blades of Chaos.
From what we've seen.
He now has an axe with blue sort of going through it, so it's hitting up that ice.
Yeah, which he can throw and call back.
Yeah,
like Thor's hammer.
So with the ice, it's sort of stepping away from the Blades of Chaos having that big fire sort of thing. So it is... Everything is lining up with the rumours that are being based in Norse mythology.
Yeah.
It looked really cool. It played really well. At that time, though, they didn't specify that it was Kratos. It just looked like him. So it looked like the guy had the red things and the beard, but there was all that talk about it. But you don't play as Kratos.
If you look closely at the trailer, he has the big scar on his stomach, which he got from Zeus in number 3.
And on his strap up here the Omega symbol for where he holds his.
It has to be. Otherwise, they wouldn't do the
Sony Santa Monica confirmed today that it is actually Kratos. Today. Yeah, just before we came in.
So it's worth mentioning that the orchestra was there because that particular orchestra with Bear McCurdy, who did the soundtrack for Battlestar Galactica: The Walking Dead, they did all the music for God of War as well.
Yep.
For this game, that's the orchestra, and they kept the orchestra for the entire conference,
which is interesting. So Sean Layden came out and had a chat. And he's like, "Yep, these guys are the soundtrack for God of War. They'll be here the whole night. Yep. It's awesome." Actually, I think he said that before.
He did.
He came out before God of War, I should say. Yeah. Talked about that, which was really great
because it went straight from orchestra to God of War, and then he came out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but then he explained who they were and what else.
Yeah. Then it went fade to black. I went black.
Yeah.
Then we saw a logo of a developer that I did not expect to see. Up comes Bend Studios.
Again, crowd went fucking wild.
Crowd shit their pants.
Introducing their game Days Gone.
Which I constantly keep referring to it as Dead Don't Ride.
Thank you to We Know Who.
Well, that's what it was. That's what it was. Yeah, that was its name. So
it looks like a very, Last of Us-esque post-apocalyptic zombie kind of thing. Yeah. But the trailer also hinted very heavily on a very deep story as well. Like, it was an emotional trailer.
Yeah, the first one really quite nice.
Yeah, it was a nice trailer. It looks like a great game.
Yeah, so it's sort of, from what I got out of it, it's sort of, post-apocalyptic, sort of. And there's a group of bikers, and it's about their story.
He's a bounty hunter now.
Yeah.
In this world. There's no scarcity in zombies, though. Like, there's a lot.
Like, we're talking World War Z
like
numbers with very 28 days later, and a little bit of Dawn of the Dead zombies, it's sprinting. They're gnarly. They're like fucking push each other out of the way to get to you.
That was cool. That was unexpected. Like, that was what a way to start a conference, for starters.
Yeah, two big ones out the back.
And then they go to The Last Guardian.
We should mention no breaks at this point.
No breaks, no. Then straight to The Last Guardian with a release date finally after a million fucking years.
After almost 10 years since original
and a whole
announcement.
Console generation.
Yep. We finally have a locked-in release date for The Last Guardian, contrary to coming out coming out 2016.
Yeah. October
25th, 2016. Yeah. It has an official date, and they've announced collector's editions and whatnot. Yeah. So it will make that date.
It's a nice looking collector's edition. I won't buy it. No, but it's a nice looking.
So we got to see there's 2 bird dogs.
Yeah.
In the trailer.
Yeah. I know one's called Trico. I don't know what the other one's
Trico.
Trico.
It's spelled
Trico's a Pokemon.
Yeah. Whatever. Very interesting. I'm keen to play it. It's not
a day one.
It's not my day one purchase for me, but I will pick it up.
That time frame is when Skyrim Remaster comes in.
It does.
Yeah.
Oof. Next up was Horizon Zero Dawn from Guerrilla Games.
A lot more gameplay, basically.
Yeah, so they showed a bit more gameplay. They showed that there is sort of dialogue wheels or dialogue choices. Dialogue options, They showed a bit more of the interacting of Aloy with the creatures of the world.
Yeah. It looks really good. It's a day one pickup for me in February next year now.
Yeah. They didn't mention the release date in the conference, though.
Interesting. Maybe they're going to push it back again.
No, as in I think the sting of it, that I just didn't bring it up. I was like, we'll just step away from it.
Having said that, Sony were very scarce on any release dates for their entire conference.
They did. Very, very did. Next up was the game from Quantic Dreams from David Cage. Detroit Being Human. Is it Being Human? Become Human. So Being Human's a TV series. See, David Cage's games are really interesting to me. I haven't played Heavy Rain. I didn't play Beyond Two Souls. But I played the living shit out of Fahrenheit on PS2. I loved that game. The storytelling there was very, very interesting. Because
well, in Detroit Become Human, you're an android.
Yeah.
And basically, I'm guessing you have to redo scenarios. Like, you go into, talk down terrorists and bad guys and stuff, and you give your dialogue. Something happens, and then
negotiator.
Yeah, then you can kind of see how it could have gone if you approached everything differently. And in that one scenario we were showing, there was 6 different outcomes. I think
4 or 5 different outcomes. Yeah,
it was cool.
So one of the things I really liked about Fahrenheit. Now, obviously on the PS2, it's not going to. It may not be as intense as I remember, but at the start of the game is you're in a toilet. There's a dead body. And you've done it. The room, there's evidence in the room, and you're given a short time frame to dispose of the evidence or hide it in either way.
Yeah.
So you're given the choice, and depending on what you do or what you hide, affects the storyline.
Yeah.
And this is what that's what's doing. They showed investigation as he walks into this. The character walks into the crime scene. He looks across, and depending on what you assess, changes on what dialogue options you have when you talk to the person. It looks very interesting. Very interesting. Dylan was really pumped by it. Oddly, I was like, "Are you serious?" He's like, "Yeah, really I'm really, really interested in this. This looks like great. This looks great."
Yeah.
It makes me interested to go and replay Heavy Rain. Maybe not Beyond Two Souls, seeing as it's on PS4 now. No release date, but I expect it to be probably mid next year.
But it did get a release date.
What?
Resident Evil 7.
Which is a lovely surprise. Now,
Well, the said release date being January 24th next year.
So this is where they sort of jumped into their VR section.
Yeah.
Now, there's a demo that went around a bunch of conventions in the US. Now, we didn't get our hands on it here, the conventions that we've gone to. But there's a game called The Kitchen, which is sort of you sitting down in a kitchen. There's a woman. She kind of does some weird shit to you. In the end, she sort of stabs you. And it was dark. It was twisted. It was weird. Turns out, all along, the kitchen demo is Resident Evil 7.
Yeah, good surprise.
What a massive surprise.
Fully playable from start to finish with PSVR.
Insane.
Yes.
Insane. Like, so it's very similar, from what we're seeing so far, there are a lot of similarities with sort of PT, which was the Silent Hills teaser.
Yeah.
In terms of just, being very focused, in terms of the torch, not much peripherals. It's got a lot of Outlast in it as well.
Yeah.
It looks a complete sort of
a good horror game.
Redirection.
How it should be. Yeah.
It's a complete
to start with.
It's a complete redirection of the Resident Evil franchise. We're stepping away from that action, going into the more horror. Yeah. I'm curious on I think it will do well in VR groups. It's going to be very difficult to play that game because most people, you can't escape VR. You've got that thing on your head and someone comes rushing at you.
You're going to run.
The response is going to be...
You need to be sitting down.
It's going to be messed up.
Yeah.
So I think people will actively be like, I will not be in that. I'm not going to put myself in that situation. People will.
Yeah, people will. Definitely.
And they did also announce that there is a demo available right now.
So more VR stuff. A new title called Farpoint, which looks like a first-person shooter.
Yep, they announced a new
planet, a new peripheral,
which looks like a PVC pipe with a light bulb on it.
Thing at the end of it. Star Wars Battlefront VR missions in space.
Yep, so you can see a lot of starfighting in X-Wing.
But this one for you, Ryan. What's Rocksteady been doing?
Whoa!
Out of nowhere. Go on, I'll let you talk about
Adam, once again, me sitting in the classroom.
I forgot to tell you.
Everyone's talking about numbers and
spreadsheets.
Things and spreadsheets and being like, this is what happens when this electric meter does this and this is how invoicing works. And I've got one ear and then I hear Mark Hamill. I'm like...
What the fuck is happening right now?
I'm like, is Mark Hamill doing another game? Yeah. And then I hear that...
No, he's using his Joker
Then voice. I hear that Joker laugh. I'm like... And like, if they were watching my face, they'd see me go.
So what Ryan's getting to is Rocksteady been working on a VR Batman game.
Exclusively.
Yeah.
To the PlayStation VR. Now, no mention of it being an experience or a full-fledged game. They've not talked about that yet. But
who gives a shit?
Yes,
Batman VR. I know you're excited.
Please, even if this wasn't PlayStation exclusive, I'd still be like, like, give that to me now.
Which is out in October.
So it's coming out.
It's a launch title.
Yeah. So they also announced a proper release date for PlayStation VR, October 13 this year.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't surprise me if that's one of its key. That's one of its key releases.
Also with VR, they showed some Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah, the Final Fantasy 15 has a part of it, like an experience. A bit of interesting. This next game is interesting because it was sort of tacked on the end of the VR, and the way it was shown, it was sort of looking as if it might be a VR game itself. Yeah. Like, oh, cool, a VR space game. Is this...
it's a space battle, and we're like, what is that?
Is this Eve Valkyrie?
Yeah.
We haven't heard much, but they sort of teased at Valkyrie last year in the sizzle reel.
Yeah.
But no, it's Call of Duty.
Yeah.
And no, I'm interested.
I'm not at all.
Because like the second you hear it's Call of Duty, you switch out. Dylan does the same thing. He's like, "What's this game?"
Oh no.
And then he's like, "Oh, it's Call of Duty." He's like, "Oh."
No, I don't. I'm not a fan of space games. Really.
I'm totally in. If that does have any... Now, they didn't mention that it doesn't have VR support, but they tacked it on right at the end.
Yeah.
Like, they could have put the next game, which is Lego Star Wars, they could have put that game in there, and that would have shown that this is the end of the VR section.
Yeah, maybe.
They tacked it on the end, so maybe it's got some PSVR exclusive sections.
Yeah, maybe. I guess you'll find out, because you're going to have the VR,
I will.
aren't you? Lego Star Wars Force Awakens...
Yeah, it comes out in 2 weeks. They just showed a little teaser trailer.
Yeah.
Not sure why, but
now
I'm
for
down
the
with
big
it.
guns, though.
Now this is nuts. So the curtain drops. Out comes Sean Hayden. No, not Sean Hayden. Andrew House.
Yeah.
Andrew House comes out and he's like, "Look, this game,
This guy's
PlayStation's all about big creative things. Blah, blah, blah. There's one guy that if we want to embody creativeness in one person, this is not verbatim, obviously. There's one guy. Let's welcome him to the stage." Fucking curtain comes up. Yeah. There's a set
the orchestra playing a track from Mad Max.
Then the series of steps go ding 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 light down the thing. Walks down Hideo Kojima. Yeah. Crowd goes nuts. I'm at work going, woo! Everyone's like, what the fuck is going on? I'm like, holy shit! Like they brought him out, and then down comes the big Kojima.
He says a few words. He just he's very thankful to be there.
Well, yeah. So down comes the big logo for Kojima Productions. He walks up and he's like, "Hi, everybody!" And he's like, "I'm back." And I was like, "You're so back! Oh, you're so back!
Never leave." And we get a fucked up trailer for his new game.
So this was insane.
He's back with Norman Reedus, as they were on PT.
So as predicted. We predicted that he would make a presence at the show. Yeah. We were like, yeah, look, it's way too early days.
To have anything.
He might bring some
concept art,
some really sort of basic minimal stuff. But no, here's a full-blown teaser trailer. Yeah. It looks insane. There's a beach with
Norman Reedus.
Dead shit.
Reedus with a fetus.
And yeah. So Norman Reedus is butt naked with handprints on his butt and his shoulders. He picks up a baby, holds the baby, it fucking disappears. Which
is now a meme with the PlayStation after the conference.
Which makes sense. He turns around, looks into the sky, and in true Kojima fashion, there's fucking 5 floating people.
Yeah. They fade
bunch
out.
Of dead whales. They sort of come forward, then dissipate. Oh.
And then it says Death Stranding. That's the name of the game. And if you look closely now, because you remember how Kojima showed his logo, like that guy with the skull. And then we got another one where the skull was gone and you could see eyes, like human eyes.
You can see.
They are Norman Reedus' eyes.
Yeah.
In that. So
and sort of the mocap in this was solid. Oh. It looked so good. It looked really, really good.
He's got a nice bum.
Like that mocap butt. You can almost see his DAC. Almost.
Because you would have been looking.
Yeah, I was like, is there some schwanz? Like, where's the dick at?
Where's his dick?
I was hoping for just the upper dick. I don't want a full cock shot. Because as he stands up and you see... Tip. Yeah, you see the cross, of this weird surgical on his... I was hoping for
And the V.
You see the V and there's just not the dick, just the bit, the dick...
Some pubis.
Yeah, just the dick to body connection point. That's what I wanted to see.
That would be the dick. Anyway, no other info on that at all. Now, I was thankful just to get that.
Yeah, that game is really far away.
And the final big announcement for Sony... excuse me. There's been rumblings about exclusive SpiderMan game.
There's been a lot of talk.
And the rumour was Sucker Punch doing it.
Yeah, so there's a lot
because of working on Infamous.
There was a lot of talk about a Spider-Man game coming back. So, rumour has it Activision has lost the rights to publish Spider-Man. Yeah. So now as Sony owns the film rights to Spider-Man across the board, it looks like they would go back. I'm like, well, we haven't heard anything. It's nothing solid.
And the rumour was Sucker Punch. That's always been...
Yeah, rumour has it. Look, Sucker Punch made an Infamous.
Yeah, they're good at the third person traversing.
Yeah, they know how to make a good superhero inspired game. It would make sense that if Spider-Man is coming over, they would make it.
No, Insomniac.
Massive surprise.
That was huge, and the game looks like a lot of fun. I'm not a big Spider-Man fan. But that game just looks like it will be fun to play. Like watching him web around and, throw people around.
I didn't know what it was at the start. I'm like, this is interesting. It's like, just a boy.
And then as soon as it mentioned Queens, that was Peter Parker narrating the trailer.
Just a boy from Queens. I was like...
Oh, it is.
Wow. All right. Yeah. All right, cool. And then, Marvel and the Insomniac logo, I was like...
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because Insomniac have had a good year. Like, Ratchet and Clank was very successful.
Now, a lot of things as well. So they made the Xbox One exclusive in Sunset Overdrive, which I've not played a lot of that game. From what I've seen, though, there is a lot of acrobatic sort of aero jumping shit.
Air travel.
Yeah, so there are sections where you can get across the entire map without touching the ground.
Yeah.
Which is perfect for a Spider-Man game.
Yeah.
So I think it's in good hands. I can't wait to see what they do. Speaking of good hands... Sean Layden comes out again with... I'm watching him like... That music's very...
You intimidated me. That music's very...
That music's familiar. What is it? And then Sean Layden comes out with the shadow of Crash. I'm like, is he going to be a dick again? Last year he rocks up with a Crash shirt on. Doesn't announce anything. So he comes out with a shirt with Crash Bandicoot on it. The Crash Bandicoot's his shadow. Gets into the middle. He's like,
there's been a rumor that Crash was going to be in Skylanders Imaginators. So you instantly kind of thought, okay, he's going to announce the team up with fucking whoever to have Crash on Skylanders.
But at the same time, there was no conversation. We know
nothing confirmed.
It's confirmed. It was known that the rights for Crash Bandicoot are still with Activision. Yeah. They have not done anything in a while. So maybe Sony has attempted to acquire it.
We've been talking with Activision. That's when I was like, no fucking way.
I'm like, are they making a new game? And he's like,
no, they're not.
He's like, we'll be making there will be a remake of from the ground up
for PS4
verbatim.
Yeah.
From the ground up for Crash Bandicoot 1, Crash Bandicoot 2, and Crash Bandicoot Warped. So Crash Bandicoot 3.
Crowd goes wild.
Shit.
Again, I'm very excited. Hopefully they're in a collection as well. I'd imagine so.
Now, I was having a discussion with Alice today about this. Now, it's going to be near impossible to get it from PlayStation 1 quality to upscale it to 1080p.
Oh, yeah, it has to be.
Is it remake? Are they going to go the full Insomniac route and just rebuild the game like Ratchet?
I think they would. Because this also, judging how this is received when they actually do it, can gauge the interest for what if we made a new Crash game. This is testing the waters.
It would really be, it will be testing the waters, because if Activision can see there is a ton of numbers, as in we've sold X amount of copies.
And it only cost you this much, it cost you this much, this is your return so far.
Everyone that's like, we want more Crash, they're playing that nostalgia card. So if they fork out the money and pay for this, we're going to get a new game. I'm going to buy the shit out of it. I already own them on my Vita. I have them...
This will be like the fourth time I bought them.
I have them on disc in that next room. I have them on my Vita that I've rebought, and I'm going to rebuy them again from PS4, without a doubt.
Good announcement. That was huge. That's about where they wrapped it up, isn't it?
It's pretty close.
Because
my brain went kind of fuzzy from then on.
Basically, that was the whole conference, and they wrapped it up with about 10 minutes of Days Gone. Gameplay, which it looks good. Ryan, what did you think of Sony's conference overall?
Wow. If you're not showing hardware, because they did not mention neither the PS 4.5 or the Neo, they didn't mention the Vita at all. They didn't even talk sales numbers. No. This conference was simply about the games. It is Sony hitting their slogan of for the gamers. Yeah. Hard. No, yeah. As Microsoft were the conference, if you've got hardware announcements, is the perfect way to do it. If you have nothing but games to talk about, this is how you do it. Now, not all these games were given release dates or even release windows. There are some that just simply said in development for PlayStation 4. Yeah. I don't care.
No, that's fine.
Everything on that list ticked the box. I was like, yes, give me all this. I'm if possible, because there's no release date. If I could put pre-orders for most of those games, I would have done it.
Yeah.
I am so excited. But that's all of the E3 conferences. That's the end of our conference coverage for E3PopC 2016. While you're here at YouTube, subscribe. It's all good stuff, and there's tons of more more things coming out from the pop culturists in the near future. So don't forget the names. I'm Ryan Betson.
Josh Lee.
And we'll see you all very, very soon.